Now, you don't need me to tell you that we've got some beautiful open spaces here on Merseyside. But how can we help to keep them that way, and generally to keep our climate from basically eroding and changing? That's with the help of the ecoViking, of course. I jest not. He's a bearded warrior who's on a mission to change the way kids think about our climate. And Dean Patton is an archaeologist at Big Heritage who's with me now. I expect you to come in swathed in animal skins and to have a beard yourself, Dean.
Yeah, I had a moustache a couple of days ago. Unfortunately, my wife has made me get rid of it. So.
What kind of Viking takes orders from his wife?
A very sensible one, yeah, I think so, yeah.
So seriously, tell us what it's all about. First of all, what's Big Heritage?
Well, Big Heritage are a social enterprise. We're based in Bromber and Wirral, and essentially what we do is we take what is an awesome past that Britain has, an awesome heritage, and then we twist it on its head and we use the past to tackle current present-day social issues, from childhood obesity to isolated older people, and through to this big project we're working on now with Mersey Travel, which is looking at how we can use the Vikings to tackle climate change.
So how are you then using the Vikings to tackle climate change?
Well, first and foremost, there's a mystique and an excitement about the Vikings that really gets people going, and for children especially who we're targeting, that's the main draw. But in essence, if we look at Viking technology and the way they live their lives, they do have a very kind of green message. They were powered by the wind and waves. The Viking Age was very much powered by the wind and waves, something that is on the green agenda today. They recycled prolifically, and they were doing things like turfing their roofs for insulation 1,000 odd years ago, and now it's becoming the new thing to do. So they, as well as having that kind of glamour to them, if you like, we're really looking at the technology that the Vikings had and spinning it on its head to say, well, hey, this is how we should be living today. So we basically got asked by Mersey Travel, who are partners of a EU-funded project called Climate Atlantic, to see how we can engage young people with tackling climate change. And so ecoVikings is very much a key part of that project.
And kids just love Vikings, don't they? They've been to the ecoVik Centre in York, the museum there, and the kids just love the whole thing about it, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think they get a bit of a bad press. I mean, they were violent, they were rough, but no more than anyone else were in the early medieval period. So, but they were ingenious, they were fantastic craftsmen, they were fantastic designers, storytellers, and I think that kind of echoes through the ages, really. So something we've very much harnessed.
So when you get the kids together, how exactly do you use the Vikings to talk about climate change? Is it all that business that you just talked about insulation and so on, or is there something more to it as well?
Well, what we've done as a real kind of showstopper for the project, we've had a replica of a Viking ship reconstructed.
Wow.
Not one of these big giant dragon boats, they would have been really rare, but what's called a fairing is a four-oared Viking coastal vessel. Probably been your Volvo of the day, enough to put your wife, kids, and the dog in the back. So, but we're taking this out to 10 schools across Merseyside, and we're getting them to sign a pledge in exchange for Viking silver. Now, the Vikings were obsessed with silver, and at the Museum of Liverpool there's a beautiful silver hoard called the Huxley Hoard, and we've got that reconstructed, and essentially we're getting children to pledge to make one change to their lives. So it might be, I will turn the lights off when I go to bed, I will not leave the tap running, I'll walk to school instead of driving, I'll use public transport. And they sign the pledge, and in exchange our ecoViking will swap for a piece of Viking silver or a Viking bracelet that they can keep for themselves. So it's a bit of bribery, really, but it wouldn't have been out of place in the 10th century. So
I'm sure it wouldn't have done. So, and also, I think that there's a chance for all of us to get to see your. I forgot what you described it as, but your Viking
boat.
Fairing,
yeah, certainly is. We're going to be at the Museum of Liverpool. It's a really apt venue on the 24th and 25th of November, and members of the public can come along, and children can sign up to the Eco Pledge themselves in exchange for some silver. But whilst they're there, up the stairs is the iconic Huxley silver hoard. So it's a great chance to see some real Viking silver and also get your hands on a bit of a replica version.
You've done your research, haven't you?
Well, yeah, it's I'm a bit of a 10th century fanatic myself. It's especially on Merseyside, there's a really strong Viking heritage. So
there is, isn't there? I mean, because there's a lot of the names around here are Viking names, and of course you're based in Bromber, where there is this rumoured to have been the Battle of
Brunebro 937. Yeah, it's based on place name evidence as well, whether or not it existed, but Bromber's is probably the best kind of bet as to anyone. It's probably as, if not more important than the Battle of Hastings, so it's nice to think it's on our doorstep.
Dean, thank you very much indeed.
Thank
Dean
you very
Patton
much.
there, and look forward to seeing that Viking furring outside the Museum of Liverpool.